All right, man. Good morning or afternoon or evening or night, wherever you're at, whatever time of day it is for you. For me, it's the afternoon. Hey, we're back with our mission, and I want to talk about being an alpha male. Because in today's modern culture, I don't know what it is that's got us here, but if you've been around the internet like I have, you'll see a lot of these masculinity influencers or self-improvement people, trying to be an alpha male, trying to be Mr. Alpha, Mr. Macho Man. Hey, look, I'm better than everyone because I got the biggest muscles and I work 13 hours a day and I sleep 2 hours a night, and you don't have time to sleep. You got to work. Hustle culture. Hustle culture actually become your life. You have to be working and working out 24/7. You don't got time for girls. If you're going to get a girl, then, hey, just go sleep with her and then move on to the next one, right? Other than that, you don't have time for girls. You don't have time for family. Who is God again? You don't have time for morals or values. You just got to work and hustle and be an alpha male, right? Because you're better than everyone. You've heard that too, haven't you? If you haven't, then good, because that stuff brainwashes you, man. I got brainwashed by that a little while ago. Several months ago, but not like it was years ago, but several months ago. And I remember when I went through this season of trying to be the alpha male, right? Working out 2 or 3 hours a day. Staying on my computer and working all day. If I wasn't working to make money at my part-time job, then I would do my side, try out little online side hustles to try to make more money. I never really made anything off it. But yeah, I would still put in like all these hours. I would never spend time with my family. I would always just be either upstairs in my room or at the library on the computer. Trying to do a side hustle, but for the most part, it was just kind of goofing around, trying to make it seem like I was doing work by setting up different things or whatever, but not because I was kind of brainwashed by this idea of being an alpha male, right? That, hey, the best man that you can be is just being bigger and stronger than everyone, right? So I would dirty bulk too. I would just chug down a bunch of junk food and garbage and stuff like that, and to try to get bigger, and that fed my junk food addiction at the time. Hey, no, I would probably say this was like a couple or a few years ago. Yeah, because I know I said several months, but I was just thinking back as I was talking. I'm like, nah, man, it was definitely more than just like months ago. It was years, 2 or 3 years ago, if I had to estimate, is when I was in this kind of season. But I remember all I would do is just work or think about work. So if I did end up taking a walk or something, or if I was going to bed, all I would do was think about work and working out. Working out was basically my life. Hey, forget putting time into my family, right? Forget putting time into prayer or meditation. Forget putting time into morals and values. Forget actually really trying at my work, just make sure I'm working as many hours as possible. Even if I get burnt out and I'm not even, if I'm not even doing that much because I'm so burnt out. It's just work, hustle. And look, there may be seasons of your life where you have to work more than, a normal 40-hour work week or something like that. There may be seasons of your life where you have to work more than others, and then some seasons of your life where you may end up working less than others, right? But it's not about any of that. It's not about, being a man. It's not about working 24/7. It's not about becoming this big macho man. Because you know what? If you look at, friends or even parents or possibly even grandparents, who knows? If you look at any kind of man, friend, parent, grandparent, best friend, and they're working 24/7, they don't even make time for you or their family or their loved ones. My question to you is, do you respect them? Do you genuinely respect them? Not like, oh, wow, that guy's working a lot. Like, I hope he's doing all right. Hey, keep up the hustle, keep up the grind. Not because they have to, but just because they think that they're being Mr. Alpha Male. They could go and spend time with their family. They could go and hang out with you or spend time with their friends or do other things that help improve themselves in their lives. They could go spend time with God, but they choose not to. They choose to work instead. Do you respect that? Personally, I don't. I don't think that's being a man. I think that's kind of wimping out. You know, you're not putting any time or energy or effort into your family or your friends or the people around you or into God, because you've been brainwashed into thinking that as a man, I got to work and hustle 24/7. And look, working hard as a man, very important. Even God's word tells us, hey, you know, if you don't work, you shall not, if you do not work, you shall not eat. Working hard is a specialty for us men. But working 24/7, 365, no. And again, there might be seasons of your life where you have to work more. I'm not talking about those kind of people that they're working more because they have to. No, respect to them, man, because that's a lot, man. That's a lot. Working more just because you have to, either to pay bills or pay off debts or whatever it may be, right? You know, working more because you have to, I can respect that. But again, I'm just talking about these people that you see online. I work 20 hours a day and I get 2 hours of sleep at night, and this is the kind of life that all of us men have to live because you know, sleep isn't important and you're sleeping your life away. And hold up, bro, slow down. So because I sleep 8 hours a night, I'm sleeping my life away? God made rest for us men. You know, God even tells us men to rest. That rest is important. You know, also hard work is important. You got to balance them out, man. You can't just have all of one or all of the other. If you just focus solely on rest and life is just about resting, then that just turns into laziness. If you're so focused on working hard where you don't get any rest, simply because you think you know working hard is actually working 24/7, which it's not. There are people that work harder in 2 hours than people who work 20 hours. There are people who get in a better, harder, more intense workout in 30 minutes than people who stay at the gym for 2 or 3 hours, dragging on their workout, being on their phone in between sets for every 10 minutes or whatever. Like, working hard is not about working long. It's about working hard. It's about doing the work that you need to do, accomplishing the goals that you need to accomplish, doing the things that you need to do as a man, whether it takes 2 hours or 8 hours or 10 hours or whatever work that you need to do to survive and take care of the others around you, take care of yourself and the others around you. That's what matters. But if you're just working a whole bunch of extra just because you want to be Mr. Hustle Man and Mr. Macho Man and Mr. Alpha Male, dude, it's ironic how alpha males, at least portrayed online, are not really alpha males. You want to know the real alpha male? The dad who takes his kids to the zoo. You want to know the real alpha male? The friend who goes out and hangs out with his friend and just goes out and has a good time. Even if it's to a party, even if it's to church, even if it's to heck, the zoo. I love the zoo. I always bring up the zoo. If it's, you know, the guy who goes and hangs out with his friends and goes rollerblading or whatever, or goes and plays sports or whatever it may be. You want to know the real alpha male? The grandparent who, you know, the grandpa who reads a story to his grandkid, right, to put them to sleep. Whatever. And these are just examples. The point I'm trying to make is the real alpha male is the one who puts God first, right, puts others in his family second, right, takes care of other people, helps other people, contributes to other people's lives, is useful, is just an overall good human being, does the right thing, right? An alpha male is the one who takes care of himself, yes, takes care of himself and wants to improve himself and better himself as a man, but also doesn't make life all about him and everything all about himself. Oh, no, but you know, hustle culture says you have to work 20 hours a day so that way you can get rich when you're young and that way you can retire your parents. Okay, let's just say I were to work 20 hours a day or whatever, 12 hours a day, 20 hours a day for 5 years. Not that I have to, but just because hustle culture tells me, hey, if you do this, you're going to get rich. Number one, right? I put aside 5 years for this. You're not guaranteed to get rich. It's not a guarantee in life that you're going to get rich no matter how much time or effort you put in. Number two, and trust me, I had to learn that the hard way from you know, blocking myself away from my family and blocking myself away from my friends and everything. Because when I was working hard, that was kind of the thing that I believed is, oh, if I work really hard now for 5 years and do 12, 14, 16-hour work days or whatever on my laptop doing these random freaking side hustles that I don't even really understand, but I'm just going to do it anyway, then I'll get rich and I'll be able to retire my parents and everything will be great. But even during that small period of my life where I was doing that it lasted for a few months. I mean, I barely talked to my family, and when I would, it would just be angry conversations because I'd be burnt out, and then my bad attitude would just put down their mood too, and it just hurt our relationship. I would barely ever, you know, go and hang out with them, whatever. So let's just say this, right? Let's just say that you do listen to hustle culture. You start working 12, 14, 16 hours a day. Number one, you just lose all the sleep, so now you're burnt enough as it is from all the work that you do. Now you're even extra burnt from losing sleep. Now you just become an angry, miserable person. Number one, you're not even guaranteed to become rich. But number two, let's say you do become rich. Oh my gosh, it's been 5 years. Finally, finally 5 years of just sleep deprivation and mental health issues and all these other problems that I developed over these 5 years and just being an angry, miserable person. And now that's who I am because I got money to retire my family. Right? Your family might be like, wow, that's awesome, Justin. But you know what loving parents would say? They would say that's awesome and thank you so much for this, but where were you for the past 5 years? You missed out on so much. Oh, mom and dad, I was just trying to retire you. And I appreciate that, son. I appreciate that. But I don't want you to retire us. I want you to be with us and love us. I wanted you to hang out with us all this time. I wanted you to spend time with us. But mom and dad, now I can. Yeah, but now you're also just an angry, miserable person for the most part, and you're sleep deprived. You got these mental health issues. You're not even the same person that we knew back then. And like, who are you? And I learned all that from doing that for 3 months. Imagine how things would be if I had done that for 5 years straight. Man. So is developing the problems that you're going to develop over that time, getting rid of all that family time, is it really worth the money? Is it really worth all that extra hustle for no reason? I truly believe this is one of the reasons why God's word says the love of money is the root of all evil. Because, right, you got to hustle, work, and be this alpha male, right? Get bigger and better and stronger, and it's all about being the biggest guy in the room. No, it's not. It's not about being the biggest guy in the room. I've seen guys who are built but are jerks, and I've seen guys who are small and scrawny but they're loving toward other people and they take care of other people. Which one is more of a man? The guy who looks the part or the guy who is the part, who lives the part? And when you naturally live the part, you got to balance them out too, right? You can go do your workouts, man. I want to make it clear that I'm not telling you to never do a workout again or never work. No. Working hard, working out, taking care of ourselves physically, right? Financially, doing the work that we need to do as men. It's very, very important. We have to, man. We have to. Otherwise, things are going to go down, the crapper for us in life, and especially with our own physical health. But what I'm saying is that if you don't balance it out with time with God and time with family and building relationships and going out and exploring the world and other good, healthy parts of our lives that we need to be living as men, right? If it's just all about work and working out and hustling for money and for muscle, because you think that that's going to make you happier in the end, and you think that that's going to get you more girls in the end, even though you've completely blocked yourself off from society because you're hustling and working out so much to the point to where after your little timeline is up, whether it be 5 months or 5 years or 2 years, whatever, you've forgotten how to speak to people. You've forgotten even how to speak to girls. And what do you think? Girls are just going to come up to you and, yeah, they might come up to you and be like, oh, wow, you look big, but you're going to be like, oh, duh. Like, how do I speak to you? Because like, you just locked yourself away for so long. And even, again, when I lock myself away for just a few months, right, I kind of come out of that zone, and I just, it's almost like it's kind of faded away how to talk to people. So I kind of had to relearn that a little bit. Not as much as after like years. Oh man, that would be so bad. But even after just a few months, it started to slowly fade away of, how do I talk to people, or what do I say, or who am I type of thing, right? So you start to lose identity of yourself, in other people and relationships and speaking and mental health and other important things in life and God and family and all that good stuff. Also that you can hustle, because you think that being an alpha male is working and working out 24/7 and forget sleep and forget everyone else and forget everything else. It's all about work and working out to get the biggest muscle and the biggest bank account, because that's what matters in life, right? When I'm on my deathbed at the end of my life, I want to look back and say, dang, I had the biggest muscles and the biggest bank account. I lived a great life. So let me make this clear. Working hard. Sometimes in other seasons you have to work. Sometimes in seasons of your life you have to work long hours. You have to work long days in order to keep up. Nothing wrong with that. Working hard, great stuff for us men. Working out, we have to do it as men. We have to, man. We gotta take care of ourselves physically. Even if you don't want to build muscle or you don't really care about bodybuilding, that's fine. That's fine. You still gotta do it. It doesn't have to be weightlifting, but you just gotta take care of yourself physically, I guess I should put it. Working out in some sense. Yes, we have to work hard, we have to work, and we have to work out, absolutely. But when you make your life all about that and everyone and everything else does not matter, that's where you lose your identity And that's where you start to just lose everything, man. It's not worth it. You're not being an alpha male. You're wimping out of life, of other parts of life. But if you think that work is not important and work is stupid and working out is dumb, right? And you just sit on your couch all day and just do nothing, or you don't take care of your health, you don't take care of your finances, then you know what's going to happen. You're going to be under a ridiculous amount of financial stress. You might not even be able to live in where you're trying to live. You might not even be able to purchase that much food. Number one. Number two, if you're just all about resting and forget working out and stuff, then you're going to develop a lot of physical health problems. So it's just not a smart idea. So, Justin, if I can't rest all day, but I can't work all day, what do I do? Come on, man. Come on. You balance it out. Work as much as you need to. Do the workouts that you need to do. I took my workouts from 2 hours to 30 minutes, and you know what happened? I get so much greater workouts in. Why? Because that whole 30 minutes, yeah, I'll take like 30-second rest breaks and take a drink of water, take a breather between my sets, right? But that whole 30 minutes, besides like the quick rest breaks, I'm just pushing hard, man, and going intense. Whereas when I used to go work out for 2 or 3 hours, you know what I would do between my sets? Scroll on my phone, play little games, do laps around the gym or around wherever I was at, and then I would go to do my next set, and I spend so much time on resting that my next set would feel kind of lazy, and that would it just felt like a long, dragged down workout. But I thought, like, hey, I gotta do 2 or 3 hour workouts. Oh, Justin, fine, I'll just go intense that whole 2 to 3 hours. No, you won't, because your body's gonna like pretty much give out. It's gonna be done. If you're constantly going intense for 2 or 3 hours straight, you're not even gonna make it to 2 or 3 hours, no matter how strong you are. So the bottom line is, how about instead of tracking your workout time, or instead of necessarily tracking your work hours, unless you kind of have to, right? If you get paid hourly, then yeah, you kind of got to track it to be able to balance your finances and budget. If you get paid salary, then just work as much as the boss tells you. But bottom line is, just do the work that you need to do, work the hours that you need to work, right? And then do the workouts that you need to do. You don't got to do these super extra long workouts or work all these extra hours for no reason just because you think that being an alpha male is all about hustling and that's it. No, man. Do the work that you need to do, right? Don't be throwing in all these extra hours if you don't need to. Do the workouts that you need to do. Don't be dragging on your workouts just to try to seem like Mr. Macho Man, right? Just do the work and workouts that you need to do to hit your goals financially, physically, etc. Take care of yourself as a man. And then the rest of your time, you know what you do? You build a relationship with God. You build a relationship with family, with your friends, heck, even with your enemies. If we want to take it one step farther, go around and help out people that are in need, or, spend some time outdoors, spend some time, reading books, maybe, if that's what you're into, listening to podcasts, going on adventures, going out and having some fun with people. Going out and just exploring the world, man, and doing things that are good for you. And just always focus on doing the right thing. And with your free time that you have, to just do things that are genuinely good for you as a man. Again, spending time with people, building your social life, meeting the right kind of girl. Again, getting outdoors, meditating, prayer, whatever, any other habits I might not have named, or any other hobbies or adventures or fun that I might not have named, as long as it's good for you, do it, man. Because when you balance work and you balance, right, when you balance work and rest and free time, because of course, make sure you're resting enough too. I struggle with that, I'll be honest, but it's not because I'm into hustle. It used to be because I was all Mr. Hustle, man. But now it's just because, like, when I wake up, it's hard for me to go back to sleep. I think I just start thinking about the day, and like I start kind of getting hyped up about it. And like, oh, what am I gonna do? Okay, I got to plan this. So I kind of just hype myself up. Right when I wake up in the morning, or like when I wake up early in the morning to use the bathroom, which I usually do, right? Instead of going back to sleep for an hour or two or whatever it may be, like I should be, sometimes I'll just start thinking about like my day ahead, and I'll start hyping up the day and hyping up what I'm going to be doing. So that's kind of just my own struggle. But hey, balancing work with rest, with free time, man, best way you can live your life. Best way. And if you're worried about money, or if you're worried about laziness, or if you're worried about displeasing God or doing the wrong thing, it's like, dude, just go with the flow, man. Just go with the flow, right? Again, work what you need to, the money will come, and as long as you're being smart with your money, you'll have what you need, But if you try to put in all these extra hours just to gain all this extra money, then what happens is you start living for money, And that's where the love of money becomes the root of all evil. Because then once you start living for money, that's what your life becomes about, and then everything else doesn't matter. So if you're worried about money, dude, just make the money that you need to make, man. And hey, even a little bit extra ain't too bad too. But again, if you're just putting aside your entire life for working for money, that's when you start living for money. That's when you start loving money, and that's where the love of money becomes the root to all evil, because that's the only thing that matters anymore, and nothing else does. So you got to learn to turn off that worry switch about money. You got to learn to turn off your anxieties about money. As long as you're working what you need to work and being smart with your money, there's nothing to worry about, man. You know, because even if the worst thing possible were to happen, hey, you always got God. And God tells us in his word that he'll never leave us nor forsake us. And God tells us that he's going to give us what he needs. You know, he even says, like, does he not feed the birds? Does he not feed the birds? And how much more important are you than the birds, right? So the bottom line is that if some major crazy thing were to happen, hey, God's going to take care of you. You know, as long as you're just listening to his word about being smart with your money, because ironically his word does talk about money and being smart with it, right? But he also tells us to rest too, which comes down to work the hours that you need to work, make the money that you need to make, and also just be smart with your money. Don't be blown on random garbage or junk that you don't need. And then you'll be fine financially, man. You'll be fine. You'll be good. And just balance out work with rest. It doesn't mean that just because you work 8 hours means you have to get 8 hours of rest. It doesn't mean that because you worked 11 hours means you have to get 11 hours of rest. It just means sleep what your body tells you to sleep. You know, work the amount that you need to work to take care of yourself and to take care of others that you may be taking care of. And to just, with your free time, just spend it doing things that are good for you as a man and doing good things with your life. So yeah, that's kind of my little talk on becoming a man. You want to be alpha male? Don't worry about being the biggest guy in the room. Worry about taking care of yourself physically. Don't worry about having the biggest bank account. Worry about just taking care of yourself and others around you financially. You want to be an alpha male? Be the dad that spends time with his kids, or the friend that spends time with his other friends, or the grandpa that spends time with his grandchildren, or to just be the man that is able to balance work and rest and life, right? Focus on building a relationship with God, focus on building other good relationships, do the right thing, make good and smart decisions as much as you can. And you could be the smallest in the room and have the least amount of money in your bank account, but hey, you're building a relationship with God, you're building relationships with other people, you're being a genuine good human being and contributing to people's lives and just doing what God tells you to do. You're more of an alpha male than any of those guys out there on the internet, you know? And of course, the best way to balance it would be to do that. Yeah, be that kind of alpha male. And also, you know, become big and strong and become financially stable. You know, that's, if you can do it all, man, and balance it all, which, hey, you can, because you're a man. Us men are capable of doing a lot more than we think we can. That's the way to live. Just don't make life about money. Don't make life about work. Don't make life about rest, because that just becomes laziness. Don't make life about one thing, right? Balance it out. Balance out all the good things: work, working out, rest, family, God, relationships, social life, adventuring, having fun, hobbies, whatever. Just balance it all out, man. And that's what matters. And your balance may not be 1 hour for everything. It may be 8 hours for work, and then 1 hour for hobby, and then 3 hours for family time, and then 7 hours for rest, right? You just got to find your balance. And that's going to make you more of an alpha male than the guys who say you got to work 20 hours a week and become the biggest guy in the room and be the richest guy in the room. Because again, I've met some guys, right, who are the biggest guy in the room. I've seen some guys who are the richest guys in the room, and ironically, the way they act is the least alpha. And I've seen some guys that are the smallest guys in the room and the poorest guys in the room, and they're the most alpha. So, you know, again, still work hard, still work out, still build your finances and make yourself financially stable. Just don't make life about money or work. Work hard, save your money, be smart, but don't make life all about that, right? Balance it out with everything else that's important. That's how you be alpha. All right, let's go get to this workout, shall we? All right, what do we got for today's workout? It's legs. And an amazing leg workout. If you want something that's body weight only, or you can do it outdoors or well, actually, not really in your room. I was about to say, let's check this out. You go to the top of a hill, and you lunge your way down, and you lunge your way back up, right? And you keep doing that. Like a dang army soldier. You keep doing it until your legs are just wobbling like jello. Very, very simple, yet very, very effective. Check this out. This is the kind of hill that I'm on. It doesn't look very hilly per se. That's the word you want to use. But man, it's pretty big and it does great things. So what I do is I'll lunge down it, do some squats at the bottom and calf raises, and then lunge back up, and that'll be kind of like a set, right? And then I'll just keep doing that back and forth until my legs are wobbling like jello, can't move them anymore. And man, your legs are going to be left sore, they're going to be left cooked, but in a good way. Say you want a good leg workout, something that you can do, it's body weight only, you can do it outdoors, do that. And it doesn't even have to be a hill, it can be stairs. Like, you know, if you go to a football field or a baseball field, right, and you find there's like bleachers that go up and down, right, you can use those. You can go to there's this place kind of a little drive from where I'm at, but not too far, but it's a set of a little over 100 stairs, and all it's literally meant for people that just go, it's literally meant for people just to walk up the stairs and walk down it. And when you get to the top, it's a pretty cool view. But it's literally meant just to walk up, right? And then you go around, and then you walk down, and then you go around. So it's kind of like a track, almost like a lap, but you go upstairs, and then you go downstairs. And there's a little over 100 stairs, if I'm not mistaken, going up and down. And man, but you know, doing one lap hurts. By the time you have 5 laps, oh man, you're sweating like a pig. By the time you're at 10 laps, you're ready just to be done. And if you can go over 10 laps, you're pretty epic. So that's just kind of where I got the idea for the hill from, is just literally going up and down, right? And in stairs, right, you kind of have to take steps, whereas, you know, hills, you don't got to necessarily take steps. But if you lunge, they're like steps, and they're a little bit more extreme than steps, because obviously steps you don't take by lunging. So they're almost like more extreme steps, and you just do that down and up a hill. Oh man, then I'll do squats and calf raises when I get to the bottom, and then go back up. It kills, but in a good way. It hurts your legs, but in a really good way. So you want a good leg workout, that's what you got to do. So let's get to this. Let's go. Show you a couple sets, and you'll pretty much get the idea. Then all you want to do is just do that until your legs are wobbling. You can't do it anymore. That's the goal. That's the key. So let's go. Yeah. Whew. Like, even one set of that is enough to start to knock you out, but in a good way. It almost feels like a military. It seems like something that they would do in the military. I don't know if they do or not, but it just seems like something that they possibly would. And I can only imagine how this is going to be in the winter time when it's all filled with snow and everything. So I'll have to remember to come back and do that. Oh man, if you haven't seen my winter time ones, if you're new here at least I should say, they're really good. They're really good. But what I did with the OG mission is I just put them in an unlisted YouTube channel. So if you want to find that, there's a link to my school community down below. Check it out. I want to build it up into a pretty cool community. We could all chat, and you can, you know, there's like a challenge in there you could do, optional upgrades, stuff like that. So go check it out if you want to. And then I can also just tell you how to get to my first 161 days that I did of this before I kind of made this new chapter of the mission, this is what I want to really stick with now. So if you want to see that, hey, just go down to that link, school community, join it. I'll let you in, and then just let me know and I'll show you. The winter time gets pretty intense, especially out here in the Midwest, where it can get into like negatives or negative wind chills and stuff like that. So it gets pretty intense. But man, it does so good. But I do love the summer. Gosh, summer is amazing. And today's like a 55-degree day. And yeah, it's sunny, so you can still feel the warmth of the sun, especially in May. But it's still pretty chilly, man. So hey, that warm summer weather is going to be coming, start either tomorrow or like in 2 days or whatever, by the weekend for sure. So man, am I just looking forward to that. Whew, that's going to be some hard outdoor workouts too, when you're sweating in the heat and everything. But I'm looking forward to it because I love summer and I miss it. So yeah, let's do this next set, and then this is pretty much what I'll be showing you, and then you kind of get the idea that I just do until my legs give out. So yeah, just show you once more, and then we'll go do our Bible reading. Man, I could only imagine how it is doing it with like a weighted vest on. Whew. That's gonna have to be something I'll do in the future. Got to keep that in the back of my mind. But yeah, I still got a little bit more left in me, so I'm gonna get to that, and then Bible reading. So I'll see you at the Bible reading. Let's go. You know what? I'm feeling the Bible reading out here today after finishing the workout. So let's just do it right now. We left off at Matthew 26:36, right? Well, we'll do 35. But Peter declared, "Even if I have to die with you, I will never disown you." And all the other disciples said the same. Then Jesus went with his disciples to a place called Gethsemane and said to them, "Sit here while I go over there and pray." He took Peter and the two sons of Zebedee along with him, and he began to be sorrowful and troubled. Then he said to them, "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me." Going a little farther, he fell with his face to the ground and prayed, "My Father, if it is possible, may this cup be taken from me. Yet not as I will, but as you will." Then he returned to his disciples and found them sleeping. "Couldn't you men keep watch with me for 1 hour?" he asked Peter. "Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." He went away a second time and prayed, "My Father, if it is not possible for this cup to be taken away unless I drink it, may your will be done." When he came back, he again found them sleeping because their eyes were heavy. So he left them and went out once more and prayed the third time, saying the same thing. Then he returned to the disciples and said to them, "Are you still sleeping and resting? Look, the hour has come, and the Son of Man is delivered into the hands of sinners. Rise and let us go. Here comes my betrayer." See, even Jesus let them rest for a little bit, but right when the time was right, when rest was over, he was like, "Hey, let's get up and go." So back to the lesson from earlier, just work what you gotta, do the work that you gotta do. And when it's time to rest, don't let your body rest, right? And let your body rest. But when it's time to work, get to work. It's all about doing the right thing and knowing what the right time is and not overdoing one or the other, but keeping balance. While he was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12, arrived. With him was a large crowd armed with swords and clubs, sent from the chief priests and the elders of the people. Now the betrayer had arranged a signal with them. "The one I kiss is the man, arrest him." Going at once to Jesus, Judas said, "Greetings, Rabbi," and kissed him. Jesus replied, "Do what you came for, friend." Then the men stepped forward, seized Jesus, and arrested him. With that, one of Jesus' companions reached for his sword, drew it out, and struck the servant of the high priest, cutting off his ear. "Put your sword back in its place," Jesus said to him, "for all who draw the sword will die by the sword." For all who draw the sword will die by the sword. Think about that. Do you think I cannot call on my Father and he will at once put at my disposal more than 12 legions of angels? But how then would the scriptures be fulfilled that say it must happen in this way? In that hour Jesus said to the crowd, "Am I leading a rebellion that you have come out with swords and clubs to capture me? Every day I sat in the temple courts teaching, and you did not arrest me. But this has all taken place that the writings of the prophets might be fulfilled." Then all the disciples deserted him and fled. Those who had arrested Jesus took him to Caiaphas, the high priest, where the teachers of the law and the elders had assembled. But Peter followed him at a distance, right up to the courtyard of the high priest. He entered and sat down with the guards to see the outcome. The chief priests and the whole Sanhedrin were looking for false evidence against Jesus so that they could put him to death. But they did not find any, though many false witnesses came forward. Yeah, because there was none. That's why. Finally, 2 came forward and declared, "This fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and rebuild it in 3 days." Then the high priest stood up and said to Jesus, "Are you not going to answer? What is this testimony that these men are bringing against you?" But Jesus remained silent. The high priest said to him, "I charge you under oath by the living God, tell us if you are the Messiah, the Son of God." "You have said so," Jesus replied. "What I say to all of you, from now on you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One and coming on the clouds of heaven." Then the high priest tore his clothes and said, "He has spoken blasphemy. Why do we need any more witnesses? Look, now you have heard the blasphemy. What do you think? He is worthy of death," they answered. "He is worthy of death," they answered. Then they spit in his face and struck him with their fists. That's so rough, man. I hate that. Others slapped him and said, "Prophesy to us, Messiah, who hit you?" Now Peter was sitting out in the courtyard, and a servant girl came to him. "You also were with Jesus of Galilee," she said. But he denied it before them all. "I don't know what you're talking about," he said. Then he went out to the gateway where another servant girl saw him and said to the people there, "This fellow was with Jesus of Nazareth." He denied it again with an oath, "I don't know the man." After a little while, those standing there went up to Peter and said, "Surely you are one of them. Your accent gives you away." Then he began to call down curses, and he swore to them, "I do not know the man." Immediately a rooster crowed. Then Peter remembered the word Jesus had spoken, "Before the rooster crows, you will disown me 3 times," and he went outside and wept bitterly. That's Matthew 26. Yeah, that when that realization hits, man, that's got to have been really hard for Peter right there. But it also just goes to show, man, hey, Jesus is never wrong. God's never wrong, not even when we may want him to be. Because in that scenario, if Jesus had told me, "Yeah, you're going to deny me 3 times," so I would have wanted him to be wrong. I would have been like, "I hope you're wrong, Jesus." Then again, too, that also would take away his imperfection as, the Son of God. So that just goes to show that Jesus can never be wrong. So, hey, even when God's telling you something, even if it's not what you want to hear, if he's telling you to do something that you may not want to do, just listen to him, man. Right? Take in the hard truth. Do the hard or uncomfortable thing that he may be telling you to do. Because in the end, it's just for the best, and God truly is never wrong. So, don't forget that. All right, this has been the mission for today. The mission to become the great men that God has made us men to be. And I have a free private community down below if you want to go check that out. Like I mentioned earlier, go check it out. Meet some other like-minded brothers. A lot more coming as we continue to go on the mission and grow the mission. So stay tuned for more. Other than that, hey, now it's your time, man. Now it's time for you and I to go our separate ways and go become the great masculine men God made us men to be. And I will see you tomorrow to continue our mission. Peace.